Hi, this is Dr. Ted Sibick again with another blogcast or vlogcast or whatever we call these things. And, I was thinking about thinking and how it actually is something that a lot of people never really think about. And there's a term for it. It's called a metacognitist. So you're a metacognitist if you think about thinking. And one of the things that I discovered is the fact that we have to about 50,000 to about 80,000 thoughts per day. It's a lot of thoughts, an awful lot of thoughts. That breaks down to about 2,500 thoughts per hour, or closer to 3,300 if you're having the 80K kind of thoughts. That's a lot of thoughts. But here's the striking, shocking detail about all of those thoughts. 80% of them are negative. Negative. And 95% of those are repetitive. All of that is going on in the background of your mind. Now think for a moment, as a metacognitist, what and how that would influence your decisions. How that would make you choose if most of these thoughts are negative and redundant. In other words, no new, clear thinking. But in fact, old stories, old patterns, old ways of making decisions, old ways of choosing friends, partners, jobs, things of interest, think about how that influences your creativity. Think about how that makes you make decisions as an entrepreneur, as someone who basically is supposed to be in charge of their own free thinking. Think about the impact if you are not highly and acutely aware of all of that background information that's playing in the background constantly and influencing every single thought that you have. This to me is strikingly important because nobody really talks about this, because we think that our thoughts are independent, that they're new, but in fact, by the research, and it's supported research, it's actually old. So how are we supposed to adapt and change and become better individuals? How do we become an improved version of ourselves? That's a really good question if we're thinking old thoughts that we thought 10 years ago. So for me, I had to go through a process when I was very young. And that process was because I had severe asthma and because I had literally died after a 5-day intensive asthma attack. And then documented, came back after 15 minutes. I had a mind that knew I can't keep doing the same thing over and over and over. This is not good. This doesn't have a really great ending. So the idea was that I had to think about thinking. I had to change my thoughts because one of the things that I realized is I was afraid to get an asthma attack again. And that fear would exacerbate my asthma. And so I was in this loop. And I had to figure out how to basically get out of that loop. So I had to think about my thinking. So I was a very young metacognitist, starting this journey at a very young age. And I've developed many, many tools that I now like to share with people. I like to get people out of their cycles, out of their loops, out of their merry-go-rounds that basically it causes them to do the same decisions over and over and over again. Now that's great if they're good decisions, but what if they're bad ones? And what if you can't get out of your ruts? And what if you can't change your lifestyle? Think about how many people start an exercise program or a weight loss program, or they're going to start a new job, and they're going to start fresh, and they find themselves back in the same loop. Well, that's because of that programming that's underneath. I've developed a course called the Immortal Mind course that basically teaches you how to examine your mind and basically how to understand your thinking. How to get there, how to get down into that subconscious and allow that other stuff to percolate up so you can become aware of it. Because if you're not aware of it, you can't change it. That's a fact. You can only change things that you're conscious of. So how do we get down there in the depths and basically do this? Well, you have to do it in a way that's safe and secure, and you have to do it in a way that's removed from a lot of your, how do I say, program stimuli. And that's why people come here. That's why people come and train here. It's a retreat. It's basically a way to get away from your patterns, get away from your triggers, get away from all of that, and get back down into the very depths of your mind and start to understand yourself for the first time in your life, perhaps. This is what I enjoy doing, making good people better, allowing people to understand that their thinking shapes their future and their destiny. And so this is what I love to do. This is what I'm passionate about doing. And I keep thinking about thinking all the time because, see, we're supposed to evolve. We're supposed to change. In Chinese medicine, there's cycles of 7 and 8. 7 for women, 8 for men. And every one of those cycles, you should be a new, improved, completely different version of yourself. That's why the Immortal Mind course is 2 years. We take a fraction of that, we change your thinking. We allow you to understand your thinking and to make choices about your thinking. Because there's ways to make you allow yourself to change your thinking. And if you could change your thinking, you could change your being. And this is how I survived the asthma. I had to change my thinking. I had to get out of my fear statements. I had to basically improve my mind in such a way that basically I didn't run those programs anymore. And I recreated myself. And I truly believe this. If you can change your mind, you can change your body. I do believe this. I really do believe this sincerely. I don't know what the placebo effect is, and if you're understanding what a placebo effect is, but it's influential. That placebo effect runs anywhere from 35% to 45%, depending on who you talk to and what expert. So that placebo effect is if you believe something, that it actually can manifest. But see, you can't have doubt. Not even 1%, 2%. It has to be very, very devoted, clear thinking. How do you get that kind of a laser sharp mind? Well, that's the other thing I like to think about. How can I get my mind to be like a laser? This is what we cover in the Immortal Mind course. This is what I love to show people how to do. So regardless of what you do as a profession, how old you are, it can only improve your quality of life, your quality of thinking, and your quality of being. So if you're interested, contact me. Let me show you how to create a great, new, improved version of you. Thank you.